KSSU Radio here on a Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? This is the Koeneke Hour. I'm Nick Koeneke. Thanks for tuning in to today's program. Welcome to a passionate, heated, incomparable, and at times an inconsistent discussion about everything in the sports world to my friends and family down south, back east, up here in Sacramento. What's going on, everybody? Everybody have a great weekend? I sure did. Had a great weekend. I'll get into that. Got a lot to talk about today. We're going to discuss the NFL draft, what happened in Nashville on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, yes. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Going to talk some baseball, getting back onto that baseball talk, and much more. I've got a very interesting show. Got an interesting Koeneke Rant of the Week. Stop it right now. I got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Really excited. One of the last few shows here on KSSU Radio as I wrap up my time here with graduation. About 3 weeks away, 3 weeks from Friday is graduation. So getting all set, getting the papers for this class, working on a paper. Got a lot going on. But what is going on, everybody? Saw the Avengers over the weekend. Not amazing that everybody was saying, a 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I thought it was an 8 if I wanted to give a rating, and I'll get into that. I won't do any spoilers, so if you're listening, if you haven't seen the movie yet, then don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to talk about kind of what I thought of the film, what they did well, what they didn't, without giving away what happens. But it wasn't amazing that everybody was saying. I thought it was good, really good. I thought there were some great parts. We'll discuss that coming up. But Adam Glick's going to join me at 5:40-ish to talk baseball. Going to have him on for the last time ever, and I'm sure he's excited, from the University of Texas. I hope he's tuning in right now. But I always like having Glick on because I'm always really excited to talk to him. And I'm always pumped when he texts me. I respond the same way every time whenever I talk to Glick. It's, "What's up, Glick?" And he's like, "Hey, how are you? How's it going?" And I'm trying to, pump him up, right? And then we'll discuss the draft. That's going to come up. We'll actually do that before, and we're going to switch around the show's schedule like I've been doing the last couple of weeks. Just trying to mix it up, trying to keep my body honest, you know what I mean? Like at the gym, right? The last couple days, I've been acting like I'm a gym rat. I'm not. If you could tell, you can't because you can't see me, but I'm not the best in shape. But I've been doing the elliptical bikes because my knees are killing me from jogging so much. I don't like calling it running. My dad likes to call it. He says, "Hey, go for a run," and I'm like, I'm never running. I'm always just jogging, and I'm extremely out of breath. I'm sweaty. I smell and I look like crap, and it's never running. It's just simple jogging. I'm never really sprinting when I run. Yeah, great way to start the show. I'm kind of off balance. I'm pretty tired, to be honest. Haven't been sleeping all that great. So, yeah, great way to start the program today. Let's start with the Avengers. Why not that? And then we'll get into the NFL draft. If you're thinking to yourself, Nick, can't you just start with sports? Nah, I'm okay. And then we'll get into the NFL draft, and then we'll get into some Pirates baseball. What has happened to the Pirates? That all coming up right here on KSSU Radio. I'm Nick Koeneke. Make sure to tune in to the podcast. Every interview, every show is up there on YouTube. Just search my name, Nick Koeneke. Search the Koeneke Hour, or search my podcast at the Keep Calm and Stay Offended podcast. I have everything recorded there, so make sure to tune in with that and make sure to check that out. Also on Twitter at the Koeneke Hour, Koeneke, and Instagram at Nick Koeneke. Make sure to check that out. Okay, so Avengers. If you've seen it, awesome. You know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, I'm not going to give any spoilers. But like I said at the beginning of the program, it was a great movie. One of the best I've seen in the last year. Great action. Great characters like usual. Great actors, great actresses. Good storyline. And if you haven't seen the movie, you kind of heard what goes on. And in superhero movies, it's interesting. In superhero movies, you basically know what's going to happen every time, But what they did great in this Avengers movie, Endgame, is they still surprised you. They were first of all starting out with a bang at the beginning of the movie. Something happens that I never saw coming, and then at the end, something happens that I never saw coming again. So they did a great job in everybody knows what's going to happen. It's predictable, but they did a great job of keeping you honest right out of the gate. Because right out of the gate, it surprises you. You're like, okay, what other surprises is going to go on, man? Totally freaking out. Because this is the must-see movie in the last, year? I would say. Saw it over the weekend. Did a great job surprising me. It wasn't as funny as the first one. Because these Avenger movies, Marvel likes to keep it light. But it wasn't as funny, so that was, if you're looking at disappointments and things you wish you saw, that's one of them that I could think of. But great action, great action scenes. Again, another gripe is it's 3 hours, so it's an investment. I went at 11:10 on Sunday night. I didn't get home till about 2:45, 3 o'clock in the morning. After watching it. So it was an investment, and I was pretty dang tired after. But, man, I feel like they could have shortened it a little bit. I feel like Avengers could have been... there were a couple scenes where all right, that was unnecessary. But what they had to do is... and if you've seen the first one, you know what I'm talking about. So everybody knows what I'm talking about. They have to do they have to do a good job of developing what has happened and the magnitude of what Thanos has done, right? And that's what they had to do for the first, 45 minutes of the movie. So I kind of understand why the length was so long, but I feel like they could have probably done it in 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes instead of 3 hours. So it was a long film. I don't know if that's catching the credits or anything like that, but listen, I'm not complaining because I had a great time. The movie's great if you haven't seen the movie yet. Obviously, highly recommend, like everybody's been saying. But saying that this is the best movie ever, it was amazing. It wasn't amazing. It was awesome. Like, the scenes were awesome. The characters were awesome. Overall, had an awesome, experience. I had one of those chairs that, moves up. What do you call it? The recliners. I had a recliner, which was awesome. So I'm just... The theater reeked of weed, by the way. Just a little side note. That was kind of funny. But the chair next to me, nobody filled, so that was great. But yes, Avengers was a great film. Really enjoyed it. The ending is phenomenal. It kind of like I said, they have to develop what has happened to the world, after Thanos, because basically right after that, you don't know what happens. So they have to do, at the beginning, they have to do that. So it's kind of starts slow. But I mean, man, the ending is just really awesome. And you just don't see any of it coming. I mean, you do, but you don't. You know, generally what's going to happen. And again, I'm using a choice set of words because I don't want to spoil it for nobody. But I mean, the ending is just great. And that really just, put it up above. Because during the movie, I'm like, all right, this is kind of lagging a little bit. It's really good. But, I mean, come on. Let's. I want to see what happens. That's what you want to do in every movie. Like, every great movie and every great series. You're like, just tell me what happens, right? The ending is just fantastic. The last hour of the movie is just awesome. That's why I say it's awesome. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, but it was an awesome movie just from a visual perspective. I don't get into depth with movies very often. I don't talk about the storyline or the script or the characters or anything like that. Just the movie itself, the scenes and what goes on is awesome. That doesn't make the movie amazing, just makes it awesome. Does that make sense? So I highly recommend if you're going to go see it to check that out. All right, NFL draft time. Reaction from Thursday's draft that was held in Nashville, Tennessee. I think the NFL, just kind of like looking at it once I turned it on, is they did an amazing job with it. I mean, It was packed round after round, pick after pick. People were there. It was a skeptical, and I don't ever really watch the draft. I'm always completely trashing people, but for whatever reason, I watched a lot of it this year. Just the first round. I never watched the second and third rounds, just because it's like, all right, we get it. But the first round, I watched probably, of the 32 picks, I probably watched 26 of them, which is a lot for me, because I'm always trashing people. Like, how do you have to, like, why do you sit there round after round watching every pick? You know, don't you have anything better to do? But it was compelling, even though the draft wasn't necessarily compelling. For me, Kyler Murray is taken first overall. Like I said last week, I don't think he was deserving of that. And I just don't think he's that great of a player. I just don't. Everybody's like, he's the next Russell Wilson. You know, he made plays at Oklahoma. Sure, he's got speed. But as a quarterback, I just don't see it. I just don't know. And I think it was even a bigger mistake for Arizona to draft him. I mean, if you went to someone else, then I'd be like, all right, he's probably deserving of it. You know, third, fourth, Jets took him, whoever, right? But the Cardinals just totally giving up on last season, giving up on Josh Rosen. I said in the update that he was traded to the Dolphins. And I get it. You have a new regime. You got a new head coach, new GM, I think. No, same GM, new coach. But what are you doing over there in Arizona? Kingsbury, the new coach, is betting his whole career, his whole coaching career at the Cardinals on this pick. If this pick doesn't work out, he's donezo. And if it doesn't work out in the next 2 or 3 years, he's done. He's done. Because he just got rid of a young quarterback who was only there for one season and drafted him in the first round. You replaced him with this guy who has all the question marks, you know, size, ability, leadership. I just don't see it. Works out great. If it doesn't, which I don't think it will, it's going to cost him his job. He's betting everything on this guy. Everything. So Murray was taken first overall. Then you have Dwayne Haskins, who everybody thought was going to be the second pick drafted. He wasn't. He wasn't picked till like 20 with the Washington Redskins. And then you have Daniel Jones. I think it was the 6th pick for the New York Giants. So you have these 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round. And everyone was surprised by that Daniel Jones pick by the Giants. Because you got a guy who plays at Duke, not a big-time program, also not the ACC is really good at the top, but it's got a lot of poor teams. Draft him with your first pick, basically replacing, it is going to be the replacement for Eli Manning. And why wouldn't you take Haskins? I'm not big on any quarterback in this draft. That's part of the reason why I was compelled. You know, the quarterback runs this league. Even though I love defense, I love running the football. When you want to talk football, you talk quarterbacks. That's what you do. None of these guys were, and nobody in the draft, quite frankly, had me compelled to be like, oh, they got to draft this guy. Oh, they got to pick this guy. Daniel Jones is one of them. I mean, if you look at his numbers at Duke, they're average at best. You know? I guess the Giants saw something in him that, you know, and I kind of thought of it, and at first everybody's so surprised. Like, can you believe? Like, that was one of the few moments where, like, I can't believe they took this guy. I can't. And I'm rarely ever surprised by things. But with him, specifically, his numbers are average. Everybody's super surprised. And I feel like the Giants are like, okay, we need another Eli. We need another big, tall, white quarterback that he kind of looks like Eli, you know? Super tall, super skinny. Looks like Eli Manning. And I think the Giants are like, hey, we got to recreate that magic. Why don't we have like an identical Because Eli's never had amazing numbers, and I think that's what they were going for, right? They don't want the athletic, guy who's proven it. Haskins proved it at Ohio State. Rarely ever turned the ball over, so not only is he an athletic quarterback, but he's a smart quarterback. Jones had a crap ton of interceptions and turnovers at Duke, and I guess they're like, hey, this guy looks, feels just like Eli. Why don't we take him? And that's exactly what they were going to do. That's exactly what they did do. So I found that kind of interesting. I thought that was the biggest storyline coming out. I mean, not the biggest, but one of the biggest, because it was a defensive and an offensive line driven draft. There weren't a lot of skill players. There weren't a lot of wide receivers taken. There weren't a lot of running backs that were high picks. And in an offensive league right now, one of the reasons why I didn't find the draft like, oh man, I really have to watch it, even though I ended up watching, I don't think any team got instantly better. I don't think any team got immediately better by adding this player. And I'll tell you why. It's because the league, even though I don't like it, the league is driven by offense. Fans like offense. Fans like touchdowns. Fans like points. What they don't like is, low-scoring games and running the football like I do. But not one team got instantly better because there weren't any real skill players out there. Not a great quarterback draft class. Not a great wide receiver class. Not a great running backs class. It wasn't. And I think in this league now, you got to be able to put up points. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. It doesn't matter how well your defense plays week after week. I mean, it does, but you're seeing more and more teams focus on offense, putting all their money on offense, because they're saying, hey, these guys are going to put up 30 points a game, 25 to 30 points a game, no matter who is on the other side of the ball. So we have to start doing that. But since there weren't a lot of skill players, since there weren't a lot of big names coming out, not fair weather, but just the normal fan doesn't know about. They just don't. So it was interesting like that, but I don't think any team, even the Steelers, for example, who drafted, I thought they had a pretty good draft, not a great draft. They had a great first pick, and then after you're like, okay, I can see what they're doing. I can see what they're going for. I don't think the Steelers instantly got better. And you might be thinking to yourself, Nick, you drafted Devin Bush, linebacker out of Michigan, who was touted as maybe the best player in the draft, and you got him by trading up. How has the Steelers not immediately got better? Your argument is understandable. You can say, oh, he's going to replace Ryan Shazier. Still dealing with those, the back stuff. He's probably never going to play again. So the Steelers they're like, we really got to find somebody. They even came out. Kevin Colbert came out. GM says, we didn't do a good enough job by replacing Ryan Shazier or filling that void. Heck yeah. But getting that pick, great pick. You got athletic, big linebacker who brings energy and passion and anger to a defense that really needs it. When you think of the history of Steeler football, what do you think of? You think about the great defenses and how people were scared of them. Mean Joe Green, like just that edge where you're just like, I don't want to go against that guy. That's what Devin Bush does. He doesn't mess around. He was cleating the Michigan State sign in one of their games. He doesn't care. That's what the Steelers needed. They needed kind of like a culture change on that side of the football. They needed a culture change overall in the locker room. But that's what they needed. Sure, he's a great player, and I really think he can do great things for them, especially not just trying to turn the ball over or get sacks, but just making plays, because the Steelers have had a lack of players and a lack of defensive players who don't make plays, don't make big enough plays. Then they didn't have a second round pick. They go with a wide receiver, Deontay Johnson out of Toledo. Yeah, everybody saw that coming. Not that pick, but not the player, but the pick. Like, seriously, okay, you had lost Antonio Brown, and you know what? Andrew comes on my show all the time. He asked me, he's like, hey, who's your number 2 at wideout? And I had to think to myself, I'm like, whoa, that's a good question because Antonio Brown's gone. That moves Juju up. Who's behind him? You can argue Swisher. But then you're kind of thinking, well, he's small. He's not going to do a lot. He's kind of like Darren Sproles kind of wideout, though. So I saw that coming. Nothing really surprised me at the Steelers besides trading up for the first pick for Devin Bush. Then they go cornerback, Justin Lane. Okay, saw that coming too. Steelers need a fix in the back end. Then they get running back Benny Snell, Jr., who had the best career as a running back in Kentucky history. So that's great. He fell. I think it was because of injuries. That's why he, fell so far. But, once again, a guy who proved that he can make a big impact at a SEC school. Yes, Kentucky isn't necessarily a great program, but you can say to yourself, hey, he proved it in one of the best conferences. So I think that's a great pick. Tight end, Zach Gentry out of Michigan once again. Once again, the Steelers that's another position they got to fill. Then another linebacker, Son Smith, NIU. Defensive end, Isaiah Buggs, 6th round. Then another linebacker, Gilbert, out of Akron. And then I think one more. Yeah, and then a guard out of Maryland, Derwin Gray. So the Steelers, with their first 5 picks, they did exactly what everybody was like, hey, you got to start filling these voids. You got to start doing this. You got to start, taking a look at this. That's exactly what they did. It's exactly what the Steelers did. So I wasn't surprised, but as a fan, I think you have to be extremely happy about that. And the potential about that. Whether they work out, I'm not a big draft guy. I've never been a big, judging whether somebody's going to be great. I was just never really into that part. I got to watch them on the field and make a decision. So that's why I never really go super in depth about specific players or previewing the draft or talking about who drafted who won the draft, who didn't. I don't know. I just kind of, it's like he played great college ball and he's the best player in the draft, whatever. I got to see it at the next level. I got to witness it. So all the people saying oh, they won the draft, or, oh, that's a great pick, that's an A-plus pick. Who really knows, to be honest? Wait till training camp, wait till the, preseason games, and then the first couple of weeks, those first 2 or 3 games. Then you get a real judgment, a real, look at somebody, look at a player, look at an individual, and you're going to be like, okay, when you see this, you see that. Could be really great. So, I'm not. That's what I got. That's what I got from the NFL draft. And if you expected more, then I'm sorry. But I think the Steelers did what they needed to do. Let's see if it works out. And then there were for me not one team, not especially the teams that are always competing every single year, or the teams who competed last year. None of them, I think, got better, got immediately better. I just don't see it, or instantly better. I mean, sure, you could say, okay, these guys are going to make an impact on the field, but right now to say that, I don't know. You're listening to the Koeneke Hour here on KSSU Radio 531 here on a Tuesday. Last show of, April? Last show ever in April as graduation approaches here on April 30th, 2019. Adam Glick's going to join me in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, yeah, 10 minutes. I should actually text him the number. He's going to join me in 10 minutes. We're going to talk Major League Baseball. Still got the Koeneke Rant of the Week. Stop it right now. What's wrong with the Pirates? That's all coming up shortly. Where is Adam on my phone? There he is. No. There we go. Make sure to check out the podcast on YouTube at the Koeneke Hour, Nick Koeneke, or Keep Calm and Stay Offended. Also check out Twitter at the Koeneke Hour. Also check out Instagram at Nick Koeneke. I love when people, I bring this up every week, people just, we like lock eyes. They're like looking into the studio and I'm talking in a microphone as I'm, turning my head, watching them. I always give them a weird look. Like this kid in my class, never even talked to him in my life, okay? Never even spoken a word to him. Been around him, never spoken a word to him. Walks by, he looks in, he's like, hey. He gives me that look, you know that look where you say, I know you, but I don't know you. And I go, hi, yeah, that's me. What's up, guys? See, again, people walk by and they look like, they think I'm like some monkey in a cage. Right? They're all confused. They're confused that I'm live on the radio. But anyways, the guy, he's like, hey, I know you, but I don't know you. And I gave him a little wave. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I'll see you in class tomorrow or whatever. So I found that interesting. We're going to ask Adam Glick 39 on Twitter coming up about this. But what in the heck is wrong with the Pirates? And I'm going to ask this question in our sided debate of the week, but is it time for the Pirates to seriously consider a replacement for Clint Hurdle and firing him mid-season? What is wrong with the Pirates? Losers of 8 in a row. They are in Texas tonight. What is wrong with the Pirates? Can't score, can't get on base, can't play defense. Everything's wrong with this team. And I was talking with Adam, I think a couple weeks ago about this, and maybe I'll ask him again. But he said, Pirates have great pitching, and they start out great. I think they were 12-6. And Glick's really funny. He's always just like, man, the Pirates, man, they always start out great, April, May, and then everything falls apart right when you hit the All-Star break, like weeks before the All-Star break. I go, that's exactly what's happening again. What is wrong with the Pirates? Losers of 8 in a row. Can't hit, can't score, no power whatsoever. And I told Glick about the pitching, and he's like, man, if they can just pitch like they do, what they've been doing, they're going to win 2 out of 3 games. And I said, Glick, but it's not sustainable. They're not getting on, they're getting on base. Okay, the Pirates are getting on base. Okay, they're like the Athletics with Billy Beane. They're getting on base, but they cannot hit. I think they're last in the league in home runs. In the bottom 5 in extra base hits. They have one of the best ERAs. I think the best pitching staff in baseball. That's my opinion. But the situational hitting and the situational defense that you need to be a playoff team, just not there. And you know what that is? You know what situational hitting and situational defense comes from? It's being disciplined. Where does discipline come from? Coaching staff, manager, head coach. In every single sport, discipline comes from the top. Pirates lack discipline. They do. They had a 5-1 lead on the Dodgers on Sunday. Blew it. Lost 8-7. Because of what? Situational defense. Situational hitting. You can say, Nick, hey, they put up 7 runs. I don't care. Sure, they had a good day at the plate. But other than that, you're not going to win ball games if you let a ball go through your freaking legs. Josh Bell can't play defense at first. He's really ticking me off, and he's lucky his bat's there because me oh my, he really grinds my gears. Then you could think like the Yankees. We're gonna bring up the Yankees with Adam. they have a lot of injuries. They're struggling, keeping guys on the field. I don't care. Everybody struggles with that. That's not an excuse. Steelers are really hurt. Steelers. I keep bringing up the Steelers because I have the Steeler page still on my laptop. Pirates. Pirates are really hurt. They are. Arguably one of the most hurt teams in baseball. Still not an excuse for your guys to go out there and just doink the ball around, just kick it around. That's exactly what's been happening. That's what I've been trying to say. So is it time to fire Clint Hurdle? Not yet. But an 8-game losing streak is unacceptable and inexcusable. And Clint Hurdle, as I wrap this up before we hit a break, Clint Hurdle was brought in when the Pirates didn't have a winning season in 16 years. Not 16, I think it was it 17? 17 or 18. And then it ended up being 20 in his tenure. So he's been there. He's been there for a long time. The up and coming of Andrew McCutchen, he was there for those years. I think he was there starting in 11 or 10. I'll have to check that. Check me on that. But he was there to bring a culture change. Just get the team to a 500 record, get him to a winning record, and we hope he gets you to the playoffs. Guess what he did? And everybody rejoiced him. But now what? Haven't made the playoffs in 3 years. Okay, you can a lack of discipline the last 2 years. Last year, that was one of the worst defenses in baseball. This year, right now, I think they probably are the worst team defensively. You can blame it on the ownership, blame it on lack of payroll, small market, doesn't matter. I can play better defense than half these guys. That's saying something. All right, so we'll continue this discussion with Adam Glick after the break. He's going to join me to talk Pirates and the rest of baseball. So here at 5:39 here on KSSU Radio, you're listening to the Koeneke Hour. I'm Nick Koeneke. Check out the Twitter at the Koeneke Hour, Instagram at Nick Koeneke, and the podcast on YouTube. Every interview, every show I've had is up there. Just search my name, Nick Koeneke. Search the Koeneke Hour or search Keep Calm and Stay Offended. Let's stay on the baseball excuse me. Let's stay on the baseball topic. We'll continue with the Pirates and much more. Adam Glick from the University of Texas calls in. I think it's about 7:42 local time over there, so a little late for Glick. But Glick always finds time, and this is his last appearance on the Koeneke Hour ever. So it should be a good one, and I'm happy to have him on. Hi, Glick. What's up?
What is going on? I can't believe it's the last time.
Reminiscing, huh?
I know. So what a great couple episodes I've been on. What memory.
Glick, you were on the first ever episode. Now you're on one of the last. What do you think?
It's fitting.
Fitting? I think it's an honor, and I think you should be thankful.
Oh, I am. Trust me.
So, Glick, 2 questions for you. And it's funny, whenever I see Glick in person or I'm on the phone with him or maybe I get a text from him, I always yell because Glick's got such a, hey, man, what's going on? I'm just Glick, I'm Adam. I always just scream at him, like over text, I'll put in capital letters, Glick! And that's what I do here. Glick, 2 questions. Have you seen Avengers yet?
I have. It's incredible. As you were talking about, it's incredible.
Okay. Was it amazing, though? Was it like a 10 out of 10?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you could say it's not.
Don't spoil it.
10. I mean, it's not the best movie ever, but it's like for a superhero movie, I think it's a 10 out of 10.
Okay, what'd you think of the length, though? Was it a little too long, or were you okay with it?
The length, I thought it was perfect. I
3 hours, though. That's tough.
No, I know, but as you talked about, like they kind of had to make it that long because you have to put in time for them to show how life is after Thanos, and then also for them to develop a plan to go, make it happen, a race would happen.
So, Glick, first time appearance on the Koeneke Hour with the working speaker. That means your voice is being amplified throughout the student union at Sac State. What are your thoughts?
What do you mean?
So we put a speaker on the outside of the studio that amplifies into the student union, so people can hear me talking, and for the first time they can hear you talking. Any words or any, what do you want to say to all the Hornets out there from the University of Texas.
Oh, what a great distinguished school. Stingers up.
Stingers up. There you go, Glick. All right, baseball. Yankees and their injuries, Glick. What's going on with the Yankees?
Well, they have a lot of injuries, and they probably have the most injuries I've ever seen for a team this early in the season. I think they have 13 to 14 people on the disabled list, and pretty much their whole roster's on the disabled list. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Luis Severino, Dylan Betances. The list goes on. DJ LeMahieu just got on the list. Clint Frazier's been on and off. Gary Sanchez has just come back. He was on the disabled list for a while. I mean, I don't know how they're winning games, but somehow, by some miracle, they're 17-11 despite playing with basically half a AAA roster.
Yeah, it's interesting. Probably they are the most injured team in baseball. I talked about how the Pirates are really hurt, but Glick, what do you think of people saying, "Oh, injuries is a legitimate excuse"? Do you like that, or are you like me, where you say everybody has to deal with injuries, get over it?
I agree to an extent. I agree with both sides, but for the Yankees case, like for this specific case right now, I side with yes. Injuries are an excuse because it's to such an extent, like their most impactful players, most of them are hurt, so it's kind of hard to say. You can't just write off the injuries and expect to win as many games, and be a playoff team. But for the most part, yeah, every team is going to go through some kind of injuries during the course of a 6-month season, and you have to still play good baseball even without them. But for the Yankees, I mean, they're missing their most productive offensive guys, and then they're missing arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball. So it's and bullpen pitchers. So it's kind of hard to expect them to be what they're doing right now, which is pretty impressive.
Right. Yeah. Yankees are dealing with injuries. Hey, they're winning. Pirates are dealing with injuries. Hey, they're losing. Trying to end a 8-game losing streak in Texas tonight, taking on the Rangers. Glick, where are you at the University of Texas? We're talking with Adam Glick. Adam Glick 39 on Twitter. Glick, where are you on campus?
I am in my dorm called the Castilian.
Okay, you're in the dorm. Is the roommate there?
Yes.
Tell him I say hello, like always, like we did the last time you were on. Glick, what's wrong with the Pirates?
I mean, you talked about it. They can't hit. They cannot hit.
They can get on base. I mean, they can hit decent. They're okay. It's not terrible.
Oh my God, they're so frustrating. They easily could have won 2 games against the Dodgers, and they somehow win 0.
And then they're swept at home by the D-backs in a 4-game. That makes no sense.
Oh, I know that was tough. The pitching's been pretty good for the most part. I would like to see Chris Archer pitch a little better than he has been lately.
Yeah,
ERA's getting up there.
And he can't get out of 5 innings either.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to lower that pitch count. But when you have a team that's hit 21 home runs so far this season, it's not going to cut it. When you've scored 84 runs, I mean, the Mariners have scored 184 runs. That's 100 more runs than the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't, as you said, they can get people on base, but the big thing is you got to be able to score runs. You got to be able to put them in, and they can't. They cannot hit with runners in scoring position. I don't know how many times in that Dodgers series where they had bases loaded, no outs or something, second and third, 1 out.
Don't remind me.
Somehow they manufacture to get 0 runs. It's like they get hit off this bullpen, a random bullpen pitcher, I forget who, in multiple games in that series, and then they bring in another guy, and then somehow magic strikes, and this guy's amazing, and he gets 3 outs and gets out of the jam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and their bullpen's not helping. So in a couple of those games, they've had leads, and the bullpen was so good last year for the Pirates, and this year it's just. I mean, it hasn't been bad. It hasn't been good. It's just been inconsistent. A real disappointment in the first month of
because if you look at their averages, it's not bad.
Right.
Top to bottom, they're not bad. It's just no
situation.
Production.
Yeah, situation and manufacturing. So my question to you is it time to start seriously considering a replacement for Clint Hurl? Because I talked about how discipline comes from the top. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, it's hard to say because it's different with every case, but he probably has to go if you guys will not. If I would wait till the end of the season. There's no point in firing him midway through the season if you're not going to even go to the playoffs anyway. I would probably wait if you guys don't win, 80 to 85, or maybe you got to win at least 85. You got to fire him. But it's just hard because some coaches, they do great at the beginning of their careers. They turn around a program and then they struggle towards the end of your career, and then they fire you, and then you go off to another program and you do great things. And it's like, why do we fire you at the time?
Right.
So it's a tough case. But it's been a couple of years now where they just have not been able to put it together, and it's kind of the same story for them every year. They're always around 500. They always go through great stretches where you think, oh my God, they're going to make the playoffs. This team's good. And then they go through like the stretch where they are right now, where they just cannot buy a win.
Right.
And it's really frustrating.
See, this is why
I think you're going to fire.
This is why I love talking with Adam about baseball. Is you can name a team, you can name you can name any team, and Glick will immediately start yapping off things that I don't know. Like Glick is a Yankees fan, and coming over here, he's talking about the Pirates and how potentially Clint Hurdle could be the problem, but it's the same thing over and over again. That's why I love having him on the program talking baseball. Glick, really excited after graduation to get home, speak with you, talk on the couch, go on hours while playing MLB. We'll be talking about the games, stuff like that. Moving on to San Diego. What do you make, because we both have ties there, what do you make of the, I think it's now okay to say hot start by the San Diego Padres?
What do I make of the Padres hot start? The fan?
No, not just fan. We'll get to that, but what do you make of their start? Is it sustainable? I think they're 5 games above 500. I think they've won 5 in a row, actually. But
what? 16 and I want to say 13.
Okay.
They lost. Yes, they ended their win streak
yesterday. Okay, but do you have any thoughts on their hot start?
Yes, I mean, listen, their pitching has been flying colors better than I expected them to be. I mean, their pitching's been unbelievable. If they actually could score more runs, they would actually even have a better start than they are right now. Chris Paddock, who's pitching right now against the Braves, he seems like he's the real deal. Luke Casey has shown signs of him being really good. They have this guy, I can't pronounce his name. It's like an Italian name. He pitched yesterday. Starts with Margo Vukakis or something. He's been awesome. The bullpen's surprisingly been awesome. Kirby Yates is turning into an all-star, and they might have to trade him because teams are going to want him. His ERA is, I think, under 1. And then, pitching overall has been awesome. And then, obviously, Tatis has been kind of the star for this team. He's come up his first year, and people love him, and he's been producing great numbers. He just went on the DL, though, so we'll see how serious
Thank you for calling it the DL. I appreciate that.
Yeah. But, everything seems to be going right for the Padres right now, except Manny Machado's start. He's struggling.
Glick, I gotta interrupt you.
Glick,
I gotta interrupt you on that because I'm so glad you brought that up because I wasn't even going to discuss it. But this is where the fans come into part. Okay, I have, probably three or 4 of my friends that I consistently talk to about anything, just like, consistently talk to are Padre fans. So we talk about the Padres, things like that. And I remember I had a discussion. They're like, oh, hey, Nick, you said they weren't going to be good. You said this, you said that. You said Machado wasn't going to make a huge impact on this team. You said this. And to an extent, I was correct, okay? And the reason that, first of all, I told them, hey, it's a long season, pump the brakes. Even the Pirates started off well. Look at me pumping the brakes now with an 8-game freaking losing streak, okay? Second, saying Manny Machado, $300 million, coming to San Diego, big impact. He's striking out like 30% of the time. He's batting under 250. Okay, he has 4 home runs, so that's pretty good. But his on base is. I remember going through his numbers like 2 weeks ago. It's definitely changed by now. But he's under 2. Yeah, okay, it's gotten worse. Perfect. He was batting under. I think he was batting 242 or something like that. his best statistic was his on base because he now finally has somebody protecting him. So his on base was like 320, which is pretty good if you look at the split between batting average and on base. But the fact that people are like, oh, he's the Padres are good because he's having a big impact. No, he's not. Okay, he's not making an impact. All the surprise aspects of the game are making the impact. The pitching, young players like Tatis, who's now on the DL. Will Myers is having a decent season. They're playing a pretty good defense. But to argue that, I was wrong because, Machado this, Machado that, he's not having that good of a year.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, their hitting is not doing anything. It's the only reason they've been winning games is their pitching's been beyond phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, they
from expectation.
Yeah, they don't give up many runs every game. Like, Pots usually can't score more than 3 runs a game, but yet they're still winning a bunch of games. And, I mean, if you look at their averages, I mean, no one's hitting well on the Padres at all. Mm-hmm. It's all the pitching. Mm-hmm. Machado, I'm looking at it now, it's now dropped to 231.
Wow.
He cannot buy himself a hit. He didn't get a hit last night against the Braves. He hasn't got one today against them either. But Tatis going on the DL, he's their only stable production hitting, and with him on the DL, I think this team could definitely go into a Pirate-style losing streak.
There you go, Glick. Nice little sneak in there.
Yeah, I mean, and also you talked about their sustainability of them playing this well. It's not sustainable. They're going to the young pitching. People are gonna, they're major league hitters.
Yeah, they're gonna make adjustments.
Exactly, they're going to make adjustments. It's the first time seeing these guys. You don't know what to expect. Yeah, they're talented, but they're first. They're in the league for the first time, and you're a major league player. You're going to make adjustments next time around. You're going to, you get in the dog days. These starting pitchers, they're not used to this long of a season. They're going to get tired. It's just fans don't understand that.
What do you make of the fans? Let's lead right into that. What do you make of the fans? Just coming out of the coming out of the woodwork, just coming. People who have no idea. I know more about the Padres than the people who I talk with, and that's why I'm getting to the point. Click. All right. Hear me out. I'm getting to the point where I don't talk to people who aren't knowledgeable or if they want to start an argument. Okay, if you want to come talk to me about something, okay, that you think you know what you're talking about, sure, come talk to me and let's have a decent discussion. But if you're going to send a provocative text or a provocative phone call about how this and this was wrong, this is I'm going to refuse to talk to you, especially if you have no idea what you're talking about. So what do you make of the fans, coming out of the woodwork, just, look at us. Please. It's not even May yet.
I know. I mean, their fans are just so bad. And listen, I'm a Padre fan. And I
don't agree with it, but
our fans are just horrible. They don't understand baseball, and they get so excited about big name players. They don't understand the game, and then the funny thing is they started off great. At the very beginning, the first 2 weeks, and then the third week or something, they started losing a bunch of games, and they got, I think, 500 or even under.
Where'd all the discussion go?
And then all the fans are like,
"Oh, we have the beach.
This team is too good to be on this kind of a losing streak. This doesn't make any sense." And they just don't understand, and they leave the team once they start doing bad. Now they're back on because they've been playing better. And once they start, and then what is going to happen? I guarantee you, I can make a lot of money.
All right, I'm going to write this down.
In the summer, in beginning of August.
Okay, so late summer.
Late summer, dog days of summer, late August or early August even. They're going to be under 500. Their fans are not going to be at the games. People are going to be mad at Manny Machado because he's still batting under 260. I'll give him a little.
All right, 260. Perfect. All right.
Yeah, he will not get under 2. He will be under 260. Tatis will be back, but he will be under 270 batting average. Their pitching will start to fade. Chris Paddock is going to go through struggles. His ERA is going to just skyrocket from low 2s to upper 3s. I know it's all negative, but it's just what you know, if you know baseball, these are the likelihoods of scenarios. This team, the reason why I think they're going to struggle is because they don't know how to, as the Pirates do, they don't know how to bring runners home with runners on scoring position. They strike out so much. They just can't put the ball in play.
Right. Yeah. I'll write that down. I'll hold you to it. Listen, like, I'm all for being excited about a team, especially a team that's been losing as much as the Padres have in the last decade. Listen, I get that, and I'm understanding, and I get misunderstood when I trash that city. You say, oh, you're just a dumb Pirates fan. This has nothing to do with the Pirates. Stay in the pocket. We're talking about the Padres, okay? I understand, Pirates have really struggled last couple of seasons, especially attendance, especially, understanding, what's going on with the team because they just can't stand ownership, things like that. I'm fully understanding. But, I mean, gosh, at least act like you know something or give me some fact. And enough of these and you know what they're going to do, Glick? They're going to go, oh, we have the beach once they start losing. And then, listen, we're not going to talk at all. Like, I don't know. I'm just so sick of it. We're talking with Adam Glick 39 on Twitter, all the way from the University of Texas. Glick, what do you make of the Rays' quick start real quick?
They're good, and they're going to be just as good by September. They play the game like exactly the right way of how to play. They don't have any superstars. They pitch extremely well. All 5 pitchers will pitch well. They also have a great bullpen. Even as we know, their bullpen, they'll use their bullpen starters to start a game, to go an inning or two. They won't even have a starter. Blake Snell is their ace, who's absolutely awesome. Meadows from your Pirates is on an absolute tear right now.
But he can't stay healthy. So there's a not
True.
Not
There's a caveat.
Mm-hmm, right. Caveat. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think this team can win the division. I think this team will be right there with the Red Sox to win the division. I really do.
Early MVP candidates that aren't named Yelich and not named Osuna. Ozuna. Yeah, Cardinals.
Okay, then it's Bellinger.
Okay. What about Bellinger? Anybody else? Because I feel like the reason I wanted to ask this question, and I knew, and when we did our pre-show, talk about what I wanted to talk about with you, I didn't want to include those names because I wanted to kind of put you to the test. Because
Alonso on the Mets.
Okay.
Like, he's also a Rookie of the Year candidate as well.
Mm-hmm.
Baez.
Right. The reason I wanted to ask is because I feel like in the MVP race this year, there's not a lot of guys putting their name in the basket, name in the hat. I feel like it's like two guys who are just raking. It's not going to, continue at this rate. It just won't. But, I feel like like this year it's a lot about teams, and it's not a lot about, great star players who can carry a team, great starting pitching, a great ace. It's more of like a team aspect this year.
And I like that. I personally love that.
So any other Yelich, okay, no Osuna, and no Bellinger. Is there any? And you don't have to give me an answer. You can honestly say, I don't even know.
I mean, there's a player. I don't know. He's not going to get MVP wise. I don't think so. But no one ever talks about this player. Is Nick Markakis? He hits for a good average every single year. Right now, he's batting .330. He has an excellent arm in the outfield. He makes every play in the outfield. He gets on base. He doesn't strike out. I don't think he'll get MVP votes. I don't know unless he continues to go off. But he's always a consistent player that you just wish you had on your team. That he's going to bat over 300. He's going to make every play in the outfield, and he's going to get on base. But it's really hard in the American League. I would say that's tough too. I really don't know in the American League.
Right.
Eddie Rosario for the Twins is off to a really good start, but he's not going to keep that going. So I have no clue in the American League.
All right, Glick, last couple of questions. In this one, I didn't necessarily prepare for. I actually just wrote it in, in the last 30 minutes or so. And it's kind of not a touchy subject, but it's something we never talk about on the air. and that is, what do you make of, you being Jewish? What do you make of the tragedy that happened in Poway, I think a couple days ago? Any thoughts for, my listeners? As someone who's, a part of that community, what are you feeling today after, not only this, but past events that have affected your Jewish community? I just kind of wanted to see how you're feeling, what you're thinking.
That's a tough question to talk about. I mean, I try not to focus on it because, it just makes me upset, but, like, people don't realize, especially if you're not Jewish, like, this is not just, like, anti-Semitism. These kind of acts have not just started, like, recently. This has been going on for centuries, and, I mean, it's really tough that we can't even now, like, be safe in a place of worship, especially on a really religious holiday. And last day of Passover is about escaping Egypt from slavery, and then you have a shooting like that. And this is the first time a shooting has happened in where I grew up in San Diego, and I've been to that temple. My best friend has his bar mitzvah there, so I was there. I mean, it's kind of tough to imagine that I've been in that exact location where it happened. But you just have to raise awareness. You gotta, the community has to come together. You gotta just, you gotta make it so these people don't have the opportunity to do this, and they realize, like, how horrible it is. Because even though people won't talk about it, there's still a lot of people out there that really just don't like Jewish people and think it's okay to, hurt them.
Well said. I just, I thought of that, and I was like, it'd be great to get, someone's perspective who's, a part of that, and just talk about something that's serious that I try to do a decent amount, but, as you can tell, we're pretty happy-go-lucky on this program. All right, Glick, I got two more questions. One is about nothing about baseball, nothing about being Jewish, because I'm going to bring this up, and I hope you tune in for this. What do you make of cuddling?
Cuddling?
Yeah. Just, you don't even have to answer. Just be like, love it, hate it.
I'll answer.
I'll answer. All right, Click.
Listen, I mean, for the girl, I think it's a lot. I think it means a lot. And for the guy, and me personally, I'm not a big fan of it.
There it is.
But, I hate to say this, but, like, sometimes you have to do something that you don't want to do so you can get something that you want to do in return.
That is the best thing that Glick has ever said on this program. In the 10 plus times he's been a guest on this show, I think that was the most provocative and funny and just the best thing you've ever said, Glick.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's true. I'm not.
Well, I mean, other people might think otherwise. I just want your opinion. Glick, we're going to the I gotta hit a break. We're going to the game. What are you excited most for? We're going to the Padre game after graduation, I think 21st. You're going back-to-back games. What are your thoughts real quick?
Super excited. Get to see baseball. I haven't been to a baseball game this year. Get to see the Pods. Might even be get to see all the fake fans out there. Get to grab get to sneak in some 7-Eleven
of course.
Before the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It should be a great time.
Yes, and obviously the best part is you're going with me. Glick, I'm thinking we sit right field this time. What do you think? Don't really ever sit in right field. I think it would be a good experience. See if we like it. Don't like it. What are your thoughts?
Are
you a right field guy?
I like left field.
I do too, but I've been in left field all the time. I'm never in right.
True. Okay, it depends where in right field you're talking about.
Beyond the fence.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I don't want double deck.
No, of course not.
I want
right above T-Mobile.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I want as close to T-Mobile as possible. I don't want to be like upper first section either. I want to be right there in the action. where it's possible home run threat catch a baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to be there for batting practice to catch baseballs as well.
We will be there for batting practice. We will discuss where we are sitting. Glick from the University of Texas, I appreciate the time. Went over about 20, 25 minutes. I appreciate the input. This is the last thing you'll ever say on this program. Do you have any words for my listeners, any words for me? Last thoughts from Glick ever on KSSU Radio.
Last thoughts. I'll say that as much as Sac State is a great university, Texas is 1,000 times better. Hook 'em horn.
Wow, I had the thought, and this is why Glick drives me nuts also. I was thinking that Glick was going to be like, you know what, Nick? You say a lot of crazy things, but you have the best radio station at KSSU Radio. I really appreciate you having me on the program so I can spew what, my sports thoughts are. And, you just did a great job, and I really appreciate you having me on all these for the past couple of years, and just keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to land on your feet after graduation and find a great job. But Glick didn't do that, and because Glick didn't do that, I'm going to hang up on him without him saying nothing, so goodbye to Glick. That is Adam Glick, 39. Let's hit a break. You're listening to the Koeneke Hour here on KSSU Radio. Hour number 2 of the Koeneke Hour here on KSSU Radio. I'm Nick Koeneke. Make sure to tune in the podcast if you missed any of today's program, if you missed Adam Glick's interview, who so rudely just, didn't thank me, for... I'm going to text him. Let's text Adam if he's still listening. I just called you rude on the airwaves. Let's see what he says. So, yeah, Adam, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Just wish you said some other things. Check out the podcast on YouTube if you missed any of today's show, any of the program, any of the interviews. Koeneke are on Instagram, YouTube. Check out my Instagram, Nick Koeneke, and Twitter at the Koeneke Hour. Still got Koeneke's, Stop It Cyber right now. The Koeneke Rant of the Week. Still got a lot to talk about coming up, and the sided debate of the week. And I'm going to actually do that right now, or actually we'll do that after. Let's get into the Koeneke Rant of the Week, because I previewed it with Adam, and I think I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. I don't care, okay? I don't. I think I have finally figured out why men get paid more per hour than women. I think I finally have figured out why men get paid more per hour than women. So I have a wide range of friends with different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different religions, different upbringings. All my friends are unique. And that's what I really love about my friends is I have so many different perspectives, even though I don't agree sometimes on things or, whatever. It's just really nice having such a wide range of friends. Some are really into politics, some are really into sports. A lot of my friends are really into sports, you can imagine. Some are into social issues, things like that. Some aren't from this country, some are, some parents aren't, some are. It's really cool having a set of friends who just, are unique. Glick says that was uncalled for. Well, I love messing with Glick. That's all I do, and it's so much fun. So like I said, I have a wide range of friends with different backgrounds. But I think I have finally figured out why men get paid more per hour than women. So the other day I was with one of my friends. So here's the story, and here's what has happened and things like that. Hold on, I have to check something outside. There's just an event going on here at the Union tonight. Didn't know about it. Here's the story. So let me gather myself because I'm a little flustered. So the other day I was with one of my friends who happens to be a woman. And she started discussing the gender pay gap and says, Nick, I don't understand why a man makes more per hour than a woman if they do the same work. And before I answer why, I just want to do some background. I've had so many people ask me, what I think about things or how to, things like that. And I tell them I'm pretty open and honest with people. But this kind of put me aside and I had to think a little bit. Okay? I had to think. Because I am, you gotta understand, I joke around, I mess around, I don't take things too serious. I don't. So I was like, first of all, I was like, this is going to be great. And then I thought to myself, how can I ruin this conversation? So the other day, one of my friends, who happens to be a woman, started a discussion about the gender pay gap and says, Nick, I don't understand why a man makes more per hour than a woman if they do the same job. And I said, I'll tell you why. It's a surcharge for every minute of cuddling you insist upon after making love. I just put you on cloud nine that lasted for maybe, 30 to 45 seconds. Was that not enough? What else do you want from me? That is why men get paid more per hour. It's the surcharge. It's the overtime. It's like, what else do you want? I don't get it. I just don't understand. What's the obsession with cuddling? What is the obsession? What's the ladies, call in the show, 916-278-3666. KSSU Radio. What's the obsession? Somebody tell me. I don't get it. Don't understand it. We just did an amazing thing. Now let me just leave me alone for a minute. Why do immediately come here? Like, I don't get it. I don't. Maybe it's because I'm not necessarily a touchy-feely guy. But I just, that's why men get paid more per hour. I just don't, that's what I think. The other day, I was with one of my friends who happens to be a woman, and she started discussing the gender pay gap and goes, Nick, I don't understand why a man makes more per hour than a woman if they do the same job. And I said, I'll tell you why. It's a surcharge for every minute of cuddling you insist upon after making love. I just put you on cloud nine for the last 30 to 45 seconds. Was that not enough? What else do you want from me? What else? And I'm sure some of you out there are offended. You're just like, I can't believe you just said that. Can't believe you think that. It's a joke. Relax. It's a joke. But still, I firmly believe, what's the obsession? Somebody tell me. Just like last week with, what was it? Oh, Russell Westbrook? What's the, why does everybody just think he's the best player ever? What does he do significant when the games matter? Absolutely nothing. Sure, he gets 25 points, but he shoots 30% from the field. That's like shooting 30% from the field. Sure, I just shot 30% from the field, but you got what you wanted, right? Right? I don't know. I just don't get it. And then the conversation led into, she's like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Can't believe you just said that. It's like, yeah, I just did. I'll say it again. That's what I'll do. She wasn't offended. She was more of she laughed. She was like, But then she's like, come on. And I'm like, no, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly how it works. That's exactly what, that's what I believe. It's not what I believe. It's a joke, but still. I believe in the, what's the obsession with the cuddling? I'm sitting down with one of my friends who happens to be a woman, and she starts a discussion about the gender pay gap. She goes, Nick, I don't understand why a man makes more per hour than a woman. Can you tell me why? And I said, yeah, I'll tell you why. It's a surcharge for every minute of cuddling you insist upon after making love. I just put you on cloud nine for, 30 to 45 seconds. Was that not enough? What else do you want from me, ladies? What? Doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. Somebody should be able to tell me. All right, moving on. Because I'm sure you've had enough of that. Sided debate of the week, and then the last, and then we'll end the show with Stop It, Stop It right now. just like how I previewed earlier in the show, is it time to fire Clint Hurdle, manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates? After losing 8 games in a row and this team looking just like it's going nowhere, is it time to fire him? Go to sided.co for more information. All right, to finish the show, let's do some Stop It, Stop It right now.
Welcome to Stop It right now.
No.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Stop it. Get some help.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Stop it right now. So, like I said, I had a discussion with one of my friends. I was actually talking with my brother the other day, my twin brother. So, for you, those of you who don't know me, I have a twin brother. I also have 3 other brothers and then 2 sisters. And the 2 sisters and my oldest brother are triplets. So, there are triplets in our family, then a single, then us twins, and then another single. So, there's 7 of us. I have big family, grew up in a big family. It's a blessing. I love being in a big family. It's awesome. And if you don't have one, if you're like a single child or you just have one sibling, sucks for you. And actually, I was talking with my brother, and then my friend Andrew, who always comes on, he goes, you know what? We were talking about being a twin and how much it sucks. And I'm like, I love being a twin. What are you talking about? And he got me thinking, being a twin absolutely sucks. It sucks. For me. Okay? Not for my brother. Not for Pat. That's his name, Pat. Pat, if you're listening, shout out. I told him to tune in because I told him, hey, I'm going to talk about you today. He goes, great. And I'm like, you're not tuning in. Nobody in my family tunes in this program. They're like, Nick, we deal with you on an everyday basis. Why would we listen to you on the radio for 2 hours? I'm like, yeah, you got a point. Having a twin sucks. Here's the problem with having a twin or being a triplet. You are constantly being compared to. Let me put it this way. If Pat and I were historical buildings, Pat would be the Freedom Tower in New York City. Respected, sits above everyone else, really nice to look at. And I'm the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris after the fire. I'm old, need constantly looked at, and also maintained. Pat is revered around our house. Me? I don't know. Being a twin sucks. Being a triplet sucks. Here is the problem with having a twin or being a triplet. You are constantly being compared to. Let me put it this way. If we were historical buildings, Pat would be the Freedom Tower in New York City. He's respected, sits above everyone else, and he's nice to look at. And I'm the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris after the fire. I'm old, need constantly looked after and maintained. Pat's revered in our house, and I'm just, it's Nick, Not so much. Having a twin sucks. It does. All right, guys. That'll do it for today's program. Catch you back next week on Tuesday from 5:10 to 7. Last 2 shows ever here on KSSU Radio. It's going to be emotional, man. It's going to be tough, man. I'm going to be crying. No, I won't be. Make sure to check out the podcast on YouTube. Search Koeneke Hour, Nick Koeneke. Keep calm and stay offended. Check out my Instagram at Nick Koeneke. Also check out my Twitter at the Koeneke Hour. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I'll be back next Tuesday from 5:10 to 7. I'm Nick Koeneke. Remember to be the reason why someone smiles today.